She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, here we are once again. It's Wednesday, it's hump day. And what better way to celebrate that day than to sit here with us? 2 fun-filled hours of the Paranormal Portal, just fresh right out of the tap. It doesn't get any better than this. This hasn't been sitting under a heat lamp for 3 hours. This is right off the grill. So we're bringing it fresh to you every day, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for being here with us. And by us, I don't mean just me. I don't mean all my other personalities. I mean me and my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard.
Hola.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
¿Qué pasa, amigo? ¿Tú eres trabajando?
Sure. I'm sorry, did you say Popo Taco?
No, I didn't.
Dang it.
But now you made me hungry. But welcome. How you doing, man?
Doing good. It has to be a Monday. Yeah. Yeah, it must be Monday.
Welcome to the show, Don.
Hey, thanks for showing up.
Oh, thanks for being here.
Oh, goodness.
Hold on, I got to get all situated again. I forgot to pull out the phone in case there's any emergency texts that I need to be aware of. Oh, my God, no sound. You know, those texts.
Yeah, those ones, yeah.
Now you're looking a little dark. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's hard to find your balance, Don.
Dark and spooky. Who says Don's balanced?
That was that. Go to day mode on your YouTube or something.
Day mode on my YouTube.
You got it all dark.
Oh, my goodness.
No, you do whatever you want. It's fine.
I do what I want.
I guess. Welcome, everybody, though. Wednesday night, we got 2 hours of fun, as always, on our show. If you would like to be part of that fun and festivities, you can call in with your own paranormal encounters and experiences. There you go. That was a little better. Whatever you did. But we are happy to hear from you, and you can do that by calling in to 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500, or look above my head, right under the words Paranormal Portal, way up there. There's the call-in number in case you need reference, or nobody's posted it for a while. So
the number for fun.
The number for fun, right here on the Paranormal Portal. It's the fun line. The hotline, the fun line. It's the line to my heart. So call it if you'd like to share something of your own. We got a lot of stuff to cover tonight, but it's always good to do these Wednesday shows. I'm always just chomping at the bit. And Don can attest for this. He was sitting next to me for the last couple hours.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm just bouncing off the walls waiting to get in here and get busy.
Singing Disney songs up in here.
I wasn't actually singing that.
That's what it sounded like.
That's what it sounded like. That's not what my intention was, though. But yeah, thank you for posting that too, Farm. If you have something that you have paranormal have happened to you and you want to share it, but you don't want to call in, that kind of freaks you out, you can always email us at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Again, paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. So those are your options for getting in touch with us, and we'd love to hear from you. So let's see. Anything else going on, Don, right on the front end here?
519 Forest Monk says, interesting title. Well, Here we are, strange beings in the portals. Here we are. How you like us?
It's like a petting zoo.
Please don't touch the beard.
Yeah, you might draw back a stump. I'm just saying. Oh, my God, I got too close to the beard.
Oh, I wonder what that tastes like on the grill.
Oh, Jesus. All right, so anyway, I guess that's all we got on the front end. So I hope you guys are ready because we got an epic show lined up, and I guess we might as well just get underway.
Let's do it. just so wrong.
It's so funny. That noise is so hilarious. It's like, it sounds like meat and chips or something. Tacos or chips or something. Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It's time to endeavor to bring you into the portal. So I hope you're all ready. Just pulling up some stuff here. We got looking at the hot sheets to see what's come in the last couple of days. Ooh. This one looks good.
Let's do it.
So this one is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com, ladies and gentlemen, where we find a lot of material, actually. They do a great job posting little snippets of stories and things that have happened. This sounds pretty wild. And what is it, you ask? Well, possessed woman at the center of an Irish court case. How does that strike you?
Ooh.
I don't know how old this court case is, but I'm hoping it's kind of recent. It says a man has been cleared of assaulting his ex-partner, who had been allegedly possessed by demonic forces.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know that was a defense to abuse. No, you see, Your Honor, I didn't want to hit her, but she was possessed.
She wasn't really she.
Actually, there was a whole bunch of them in there. It was really funny. I was ganged up on, really. There was like 8 of them. I was fighting for my life, Your Honor. All right.
I'm so glad Don's filter works most nights.
Oh, God. Yeah. All you had to do was say that. Now I know where you were heading. It's funny what happens in that head of yours, Don. An unusual court case in Ireland ended recently with Shane Gibbons of East Clare being cleared of assaulting his ex-partner, who had reportedly sustained scratches and bruises from an ongoing series of demonic possessions. Wow. According to Gibbons, the woman, whose name has not been disclosed, had regularly entered a trance-like state before reciting sentences in Latin.
Wow.
Yeah, it's generally a bad sign.
Yeah, not good.
Not good. No, unless you're studying that, then that's okay. But during such episodes, the lights would flicker on and off. Items would be thrown across the room, and she would suffer wounds that spontaneously appeared on her body without apparent explanation.
Wow.
Yikes. I would witness poltergeist activity and this whole plethora of stuff, he said. The bruising she was getting was horrible. When I wasn't there, it would escalate. Some of the marks she got were horrific-looking marks, scratch marks, and all of that. The problem got so bad that Gibbons recruited the assistance of parish priest Father Donogh Amira, who later confirmed in court that what he was saying was true, although stopped short of confirming that the woman had definitely been possessed. Healer Jane Donnelly, who also recalled meeting the couple, and she was just completely catatonic, like out of it, she said. I've seen demons and different things, but that level of possession I've only seen in the movies, to be honest. I was able to help her, and I was able to remove it, and she went home and was good for a good number of months before it came at her again. The case was ultimately dismissed from court, with Judge Patrick Durkin declaring that the version of events concerning the occult, exorcisms, and devilish possession should have been explored more by the state.
Okay. So it's not like he really was beating her.
No, I guess not.
It was whatever was causing the bruises made it look like he was beating her.
Yeah, that's pretty diabolical too.
Yeah, that's pretty poopy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, of course, spontaneous injury is certainly cited as a symptom of possessions.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing, and that's one thing that I would like to point out though is that it really is true. If you've ever dealt with something dark, and you manage to conquer it and get it out, they can come back. You know, they can come back. It can be days, months, years. I don't think they care how long it takes. If something wants you, it's going to continue to sit there and hover and, in the vicinity until you screw up somehow. Yeah.
Poking at it.
Yeah, exactly. or you mess up or leave yourself vulnerable some way, and that it might come back. So, I mean, if you've ever dealt with possession, you're really in for a marathon, because you gotta do it right from then on, because it's very, very possible that these things can come back, and that's the tough part. And I heard that first from Ed and Lorraine Warren when they were interviewed. They said, you might get it out, but there's no guarantee it's done. She said that oftentimes people re-experience possession or oppression after dealing with it, and so that's the scary part. Those things, I mean, these things got nothing but time. They're not aging. They're not getting old and frail.
They're
just
nothing
waiting.
but time.
Right. Yeah, that's just it. They got nothing but time, and they're going to make you their personal hobby. So be careful messing with the dark stuff, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got to say. But that's a creepy story. But I'm glad the guy didn't get prosecuted for something like that. It's rare. It's really rare to see, like
That level.
that level. That level of I don't know about how common those possessions are. According to some people, though, those numbers are on the rise because the Catholic Church has been training record numbers of exorcists.
No.
Yeah, seriously.
No, that can't be true.
But
There's no such thing as an exorcist.
no, they're okay with it now. They talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not hidden anymore. But
Well, neither are other things.
ooh, uppercut. No, it's that, which is where we're definitely not going in this portal.
But the other portal is okay.
Yeah. But the thing is that there does seem to be an escalation of these dark things or dark experiences people are having, and so I don't know. Maybe this is a common level of possession. I don't know. You hear of all levels. Like there's plenty that are just somebody got dark and goofy and they had a exorcism and came back fine. And maybe that has to do with the amount of time the oppression or possession has been present. Because I think it really gets more and more ingrained over a period of time in you, and it ultimately will reach the point of what's called perfect possession, which is there is no difference between the entity and the person anymore.
Right.
They're one and the same. And then you kind of need something like Jesus to come and take care of that, because once it's that ingrained, it's next to impossible to get rid of.
Right.
That's a tough thing. So, but an interesting case. I try to steer clear of that stuff as much as I can, because I think the more that you discuss the dark things, the more they become aware of you. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just some thoughts. But anyway, cool first story.
Wow.
Cool first story. I'm telling you. Anything going on, Chad? How many? Well, how about we see who's here?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So shout outs.
Shout outs if you want to shout out.
All right, everybody, line up. All right, so today in YouTube world, we got 519 Forest Monk. Annie M's here, Aussie Tiger. There's Cha Cha. Mr. Cookie Chris Jarvis. We've got E. Spears. Ethan's here. Oh, look, Daniela's here.
Oh, nice. Hi, Danielle.
Hi.
Love.
Jamie, Kirsten, Kylie. Hi, Kylie. Les, Lindsay, Mary Bond. Hi, Mary. Hope things are good down in that part of the world for you. Things are crazy all over, but it's kind of crazier where you are. I'm sorry to hear that. Nessie Monsters here, Mr. Paranormal Portal. There's Portable Tree, Rob, Roxanne, Squatch Naka, and Pharmacy Seeds. There's Titan and YTFP Chris. And that's all I got because nobody else is chatting.
Nobody else has chatted. Well, if you didn't get a shout out and you want one, just say hi in the chat and we'll see that you're here.
Grassman58. Ain't seen that name in a while. How are ya?
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's always fun when like people that I'm not here. Farm's not here, he says. So
Farm's not here?
yeah.
No, man. Farm's not here, man.
Yes. Well, Dave.
No, man. Yeah,
Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here, man.
But anyway, then thank you to all of you that are here, and hello to everybody that is here, and just know we love you. We love you bunches for all that support. Well, this isn't really paranormal, but there's an article here that says world's sole remaining white giraffe gets GPS.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, there's just one left. That's so terrible. I don't know. Is that a breed that's just white, or is that just an albino?
I don't know, but
I don't
we
know
had
either.
to go mess with it, didn't we?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
We put a GPS around his neck.
Well, I think that's just so they can keep guards on it,
Well,
because apparently the other ones didn't last well.
Apparently so.
There's always an old saying though that nature abhors an albino. It's like I had back in Minnesota where I used to live, there was this white squirrel.
Oh boy.
And it was a white squirrel, and it's like a screaming red light on it. It's like
Right.
everything was trying to catch this thing, and you'd have birds swooping down on it, and it was just always tormented. And then one day the eagles found it, and man, they ganged up and they got it, and that was the last I saw of the white squirrel. But it was kind of cool to see one because they're so rare.
Right.
But yeah, it's like they just can't camouflage. They can't hide.
Nope.
Like other things can. And of all times that it got caught, It was winter.
Oh,
There was
jeez.
snow everywhere.
There should have been
It's like,
no
oh
way.
my God. Yeah, but I guess that's when the eagles are more
Hungry?
hungry. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, very very wild.
Hey, you should change your view on the camera.
Oh, it's just you.
Oh, yeah.
Are you tired of being the
No,
focused on?
I'm just kind of boring looking, you know? I mean, they're just sitting here looking at Dawn right now.
Well, you know,
Mr. Animated over
everybody needs some love.
there. Ah, well.
I don't really. Oh God, that's terrible. I don't know if this sounds kind of familiar though, but it's a new article, so we're gonna read it. This seems to have something to do
Ooh.
with the paranormal, and it kind of ties in because thanks to Unknown's new artwork that he sent to us, those animated little shorts that we have
Yep.
on the end of our normal intros and stuff. Sounds pretty deep, but anyway, this is coming again from unexplained-mysteries.com. It's a great site. I encourage everybody to go check it out. Eerie tentacled figure appears in the doorway. Those tentacled figures, Don.
Thanks.
Unsettling footage shows a mysterious unidentified figure peering around a doorway in a woman's house.
That's starting to sound like a henchef video.
Is that it? It doesn't look tentacled at all. If that's it. The video, which was originally posted on Reddit before doing the rounds on YouTube and elsewhere, was reportedly filmed inside a house in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Recorded just before midnight on November 7th, so it is brand new. The footage shows a human figure briefly emerging from the doorway of what is believed to be the room where the homeowner's baby is sleeping.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's not good. And while this would be disturbing enough, given that this person should not have been in the house, some viewers maintain that the figure has some sort of tentacles in place of hands. Yeah, that's an extra level of creepy there.
Yeah.
Whether or not this is actually the case, given the resolution of the video, however, remains unclear. One thing's for sure, if this isn't someone who lives at the house, the woman who posted the clip claims that she was home alone with her baby, then this is one scary piece of footage.
Uh-huh.
Could this be an intruder, something paranormal, or is the whole thing simply a hoax? You can check out the video below for yourself. Well, I guess we will, in the sake of fair use.
Might as well.
I'm going to say fair use for everything. It's fair use. I'm using it fairly. I will turn off the sound in case there is some. God, is it long? How long is this?
It's only a minute 26.
Wow, we're going to get past all this garbage.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And get the ad out of here. Okay, so here's the video. Looks like we're looking down the hallway from the living room, or this is like a security camera or something. Where is the mom, though? That's the part I don't see.
Well, maybe it's nighttime and mom's
Right.
in bed.
So I'm looking down here, and you good Lord, let's see this. I don't know. I got to blow it up way up so we can see what the hell we're looking at. But here we are. Oh no, really? Okay. What?
Oh.
That's not good. That's not good. We're getting a zoomed in shot. Oh, it does the peaky thing too. That's creepier
and
than
that's
hell.
where the baby is.
Look
It's
at the
already
look
in
at the
there?
black whiffs coming off here. Again, look at that. Yeah, it does look tentacly and crap. That's not good.
Boy,
Oh man, that's horrible.
that was actually kind of creepy. Yeah,
That's still creepy. Yeah, that's horribly creepy. Oh my God, there is tentacly things too. No, that's bad. Very bad.
Ugh.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what you think about that, but I'd be taking care of that house in a hurry, or I'd be moving.
Yeah, getting
It would, yeah, it's either that gets out or I get out, but there's no way in hell I'm going to have something like that creeping around my baby. No way. Oof.
Kylie says, does that wall decal say stay away, awful? Stay awful? I don't know. I didn't quite see it, but I was busy looking down at the door.
I know. Well, first I saw this little part here, and I was like, is that a little head?
Yeah.
But then it comes up, it's right. There's little tentacles that come first.
Ugh.
Oh, and then the head pokes out. It's like, no. Yeah, no. No.
Jinkies. Thanks,
No.
Quacksucker.
Like, yes, Goob. Oh, that's creepy as hell. That's terrible. That's, I don't know. I mean, if it's not real, it's not real. That's fine. I mean, it certainly could be hoaxed. It doesn't have anything that astronomical in it that would be difficult to hoax. because really the only animation is here, and then you just need someone to peek out
Right.
quick and then just clip the footage and go. So you just have to add these little wispy tentacles coming out there. But if it's real, then that's horrible.
That's scary.
That's so horrible. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the first of the says real, deaf, real. Oh, Cha-Cha says it's real. I don't know. What do you guys think? That's kind of cool. Let me know what you think. Do you think that was real, or do you think that was some kind of funkiness going on there, some hoaxing?
Well, I definitely think there's something funky going on.
Ethan's video got deleted. Sorry to hear that, Ethan. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be definitely taking care of that house in a hurry. That's wrong. That's all kinds of wrong.
Chacho did what make squishing sounds?
Well, only our intro does that.
I don't know.
It's because of the tentacles, Our intro that does
Yeah, that's disgusting.
like that. Yeah. That's what she's talking about.
Chris says, right, it needs squishy sounds and a red circle to be real.
Yeah. Yeah, those red
Big,
circles.
thick red circles, so you know exactly what you're looking at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's a couple of things right from the hot sheets right off the bat today. So I hope you enjoyed those. There's a couple more things I want to check here before we move forwards into some of the articles we pulled up. No, not this one. I'm still looking through here. Oh, yeah, that one.
I haven't read that one.
I did, yeah. I did read that one. Looking here, too. I got to refresh. And no, nothing really sticking out right now. So we're going to get into the articles that I had pulled up for today, talking about some strange beings. And the first one I wanted to bring to you was one that's, of course, we're big fans of Brent Swanser here on the portal. Obviously, the guy is amazing at what he does incredibly comprehensive, thorough reports and articles for mysteriousuniverse.org. And he sent this one over to me several days ago. In fact, this one was going to be the one that I used last Friday. What?
Saturday. But yeah.
Was it Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh.
This was what was going to start the show, and then everybody called, which was even better.
Glasses, Brent, glasses. Why do I need glasses? What's going on?
Because you're always squinting.
Oh, I'm always squinting. No, that's just my nature. I'm always squinting.
I'm just kind of a squeaky, squeaky kind of guy.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right. Here we go. So this is I guess I'll drag it over. We'll do the whole 3-screen thing so that you guys can read along, because I think these are great. Sometimes they have good pictures in them. They're not generally actual photos, but they do augment the story. So let's get to this. This is coming from mysteriousuniverse.org. Again, phenomenal site. Nick Redfern writes over there. Brent Swanser, of course, does. And several other really talented people are submitting articles over there all the time. So definitely check it out. This one has to do with the curious case of the Orang Ikan. And it says, mer-beings have been present in folklore throughout the world since practically as long as folklore has been around. Yet as much as the idea of half-human, half-fish beings may sound like a mere flight of fancy, there are numerous reports of real-life sightings and encounters with strange mer-beings from all over the world. Such incidents suggest that something very much like the mermaids of lore could be somehow real. But does this fit in with our idea of reality or not? Is it all spooky stories, or is there something more to it? Whether you believe they are possible or not, it is undeniable that half-human, half-fish beings or creatures are a recurring theme around the world and across cultural divides, and they seem to have a very real place in the world of the strange. Perhaps some of these cases are worth looking at. And says, weird cases of mer-beings come from far-flung corners of the world, with some coming from places you may never even have heard of. During World War II, amidst the fighting that was quickly flaming across the Pacific, there was an interesting case of what was reported by Japanese soldiers from the Kia Islands of Indonesia in 1943. The Kia Islands are also known as the Kai Islands, are located in the southeastern part of the Maluku Islands of Indonesia. Yeah, and there's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of islands in Indonesia. So the Kia Islands cover a total area of around 555 square miles and are famous for their pristine, beautiful beaches and unspoiled scenery. It was in this gorgeous island paradise of postcard perfect, pristine white sand beaches that the most peculiar and mysterious case of real mer-beings occurred. And it says in 1943, Japanese soldiers stationed with a surveillance team on a small remote island within the Kiai Island chain reported seeing strange creatures in the water that were said to have limbs and a face somewhat similar to a human, but a mouth like a carp, filled with needle-like teeth. These bizarre creatures were described as typically being around 150 centimeters tall, which I don't know what the hell that means, but sounds big, and having pink or salmon-colored skin, as well as prominent spines or spikes of some sort on their heads or even their necks and shoulders. These strange beasts were not really keeping with the image of what a mermaid should look like at all. Unlike the more classical mermaids, these mer-beings were not described as attractive maidens and did not have holy fish tails, but rather possessed 2 long arms and 2 prominent frog-like legs, both of which ended in wicked talons. Yeah, that's not good. On several occasions, these beings were seen cavorting around near beaches or most commonly in lagoons. In one case, 2 of the odd creatures were spotted playing in a lagoon, and another was reportedly seen swimming near a beach in a manner similar to a human doing the breaststroke. One report was told by a startled soldier who recalls seeing one of the creatures on a beach one night. At first, the soldier had thought it was a child, until it turned around and he could see in the moonlight that its facial features were not quite right. The creature quickly ran headlong into the water upon being seen and did not resurface. They were allegedly able to get around on land and to some degree, with another soldier claiming to have seen one running about on the sand at dusk, seeming to be looking for something. However, they were claimed to be most at home in the water, all through which they were able to deftly and agilely dart and zoom through with ease. There were even reports of the troops stationed there engaging the creatures. One patrol of Japanese soldiers claimed that they had slogged through a thicket of underbrush to come upon an isolated lagoon. At first, things seemed as serene and peaceful as most scenes on a quiet island. But then there was a sudden thrashing in the water. Thinking it was some sort of large fish, the curious soldiers looked on to see what would happen, trying to peer through the sun-speckled surface to see what sort of fish it could be causing such a commotion. As they squinted and gazed at the water, a strange being lurched out from beneath to pull itself up onto a rock outcropping. It was described as being pinkish in color and having ape-like features, only it was devoid of hair and possessed an oversized mouth like a fish, with arms that ended in webbed hands and claws.
Wow.
There's an image. I don't know if this is a depiction of them, but still. The creature quickly turned to the soldiers, gawking on the bank, and reportedly let out a gurgling burping noise that the troops did not translate as being particularly friendly. Soon after, another could be seen making its way through the water towards them in a purportedly elegant, smooth fashion as fast as any fish. The speed with which it approached was startling, and those claws weighed on everyone's mind. As the second creature silently darted towards them, the one on the rock continued its background symphony of gurgling, throaty, coughing noises, and the men began to fire. The water erupted in spouts of water kicked up by the bullets, and fire was directed towards the rock as well, but shortly after this barrage, the creatures were gone, leaving the baffled troops there amidst the jungle noises, wondering what they had just seen. Another bedraggled and exhausted soldier who had taken a break near the water to pour some over himself and cool down reported that as he opened his eyes from the pleasure of feeling the cool water on his skin, he saw staring back at him the face of a horrible monkey thing with a fish mouth and spines like a sea urchin, protruding from the surface not 3 feet from him. Exuding a fishy stench, he immediately fumbled for his sidearm and unloaded it at the terrifying thing, but whether he hit it or not remains unknown. When his panicked blind firing was done, the creature had sunk beneath the surface and vanished. Other soldiers, while not directly encountering the beasts, often saw them lying on secluded beaches or swimming languidly about. At least one soldier claims to have seen one catching a fish and stuffing them into its gaping mouth. They were most frequently sighted in lagoons, not typically near the sea itself. Although the Japanese soldiers were deeply perplexed by these sightings and encounters, these creatures were not unknown to the indigenous people of the islands. When asked about them, the villagers in the vicinity told the Japanese that they were known locally as Orang Ikan. Orang means people, Ikan means fish. In Malay, Orang means human and Ikan means fish. Okay. So we have something akin to manfish. The villagers said that they were often seen about the islands and were sometimes even caught in nets. They were said to mostly keep to themselves, but that they were fiercely territorial and would attack if approached too closely. Indeed, the creatures were feared but seen as a fact of life, and the Japanese were informed that if another was captured, they would be told so. They would what? If another was captured, they would be told so that they could see it for themselves. Oh, okay. Okay, so if the villagers captured another one, they would tell the soldiers so they could come see it. Okay. Said one evening, a sergeant of the surveillance team, Mr. Taro Horiba, was summoned by the local chief of the nearby village. It was announced to Horiba that an Orang Ikan had been found, dead on the beach earlier that day, and the body was available for viewing. The sergeant, somewhat skeptically, made his way towards the hut, where anxious villagers were gathered, looking as if they were scared of something. The Japanese sergeant found himself wondering if he really wanted to see this, what it was in that hut, to come face to face with what was frightening these local people so much. Whoops. Nevertheless, the rational part of him assumed that there would be some mundane explanation, that he would find an explainable answer within. Horiba would be dumbfounded by what he was to find sprawled out upon the grass laid out at the chief's home. Horiba described the strange dead creature he saw laid out there as being around 160 centimeters tall. Again, I don't know how big that is, but long and possessing a head of red-brown, shoulder-length hair, although it was sparse and patchy, as well as spines along the neck. The face was said to be quite ugly, with a combination of human and ape-like features, a low, short nose, a broad forehead, and small ears. The lipless mouth was wide, like that of a fish, specifically described like that of a carp, and filled with tiny, sharp, needle-like teeth, which they mused would be perfect for grabbing and holding prey. The creature's fingers and toes were long and webbed and ended in translucent claws. Horiba also reported that there was some sort of algae attached all over its body, which gave the body a greenish cast in some places. The stench of the beast was said to be horrific, like a mix of rotting fish and fetid meat, an absolute assault on the senses. Sergeant Horiba, although having sighted the Orang Ikan himself on several occasions, but from a distance and doubting what he had seen, could not fathom what it was that he had witnessed so closely at the chief's home. There was no known creature residing on the island that could have possibly accounted for the strange dead humanoid creature that he had witnessed, and the sight of the carcass deeply disturbed and unsettled him. Upon returning to Japan, Horiba told of his experiences and urged zoologists to go investigate the phenomena, but no one took him seriously. The fact that he had taken no photos did not help his cause, and in the end, he was mostly ridiculed. What is it that these soldiers were seeing? What was that carcass at the chief's house? Could there have been a real animal behind this case? The local villagers certainly seemed to think so. So here we have a classic case of ethno-known animal, an ethno-known animal, meaning that it is known by the locals, coming to the knowledge or baffled outsiders. It does not appear that these mysterious mer-beings can be merely attributed to the wild imaginings of foreign Japanese in a strange land in wartime under harsh conditions, especially with the number of sightings made by more than one witness. There is really no hard evidence available, but let's take a moment to explore some possibilities. Many mer-being sightings have been attributed to misidentifications of dugongs or manatees. Dugongs, although rare, were once found all over the Pacific Indo-Pacific and could be very well have existed in the areas of these Indonesian sightings. However, it seems unlikely that dugongs could be the culprit behind the reports of the Orang Ikan. Dugongs do not have 2 arms and 2 legs like the Orang Ikan were reported to have, and it does not seem that the dugong's face could be misconstrued as being all that human-like. They were also not known for their agile, speedy swimming or maneuverability, which is a hallmark of the Orang Ikan reports. Villagers would also have likely been able to make a distinction between any dugongs in the area and that of a merbeing. It was most definitely not the body of a dugong that Sergeant Horiba described seeing at the village chief's house, nor a dugong that had crawled up onto a rock to threaten the soldiers. A dugong seems to make for a poor candidate in examining these phenomena. What else could these strange creatures have been? When pondering the case, I can't help but notice the resemblance between these Orang Ikan and some other types of aquatic ape-like beings that have been reported elsewhere. The Thetis Lake Gilman that was sighted at Thetis Lake on Vancouver Island in 1972, for instance, seems to share some of the Orang Ikan characteristics, as does the pugwis, merbeings of Native American lore. Pugwis and the Thetis Lake monster, like the Orang Ikan, are creatures that feature prominent spines or spikes on the head, 2 arms, 2 legs, rather than a fishtail, webbed fingers and toes, and generally appear to be the amalgam of an ape and fish features. Could the Orang Ikan reported by the Kia Island natives and the Japanese soldiers have been a similar sort of creature to these other cryptids? Oh, look at that.
That's interesting.
Could you imagine being that guy?
I think he's got the face correct.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, that's like, oh God, I'm going to die. One possibility is that of all these accounts have their basis in some sort of unknown primate that diverged long ago to adapt to an aquatic or semi-aquatic life. We could certainly expect such a primate to evolve some of the aquatic features mentioned in the relation to the Orang Ikan, the pugwis, and the Thetis lake monster. It is likely that an aquatic, adapt ape-like creature would look more like these creatures than the classical mermaid image of a perfect human torso upon a perfectly fish-like tail. Although the idea that there was ever aquatic apes has largely been discredited, it is still an intriguing possibility to explain such reports. Let's see, how long is this? I just got to check. Oh, we're almost there. Okay. Let's see, where was I now? It's still okay. The particular location of the Orang Ikan sightings also leads me to speculate on another possibility. The relatively recent unearthing of Indonesia of the fossils of the Homo floresiensis, which is also known as the Flores man or the real hobbit, shows us that there was once a previously unknown type of pygmy hominid found there. It is not known what the specific range of Homo floresiensis was, and it seems plausible that it could very well have inhabited other Indonesian islands in addition to Flores Island. Is it possible that these Flores hominids were also present on the Kia Islands and at some point adapted to a more aquatic habitat in this geographically isolated environment? It is thought by some researchers that Homo floresiensis may have had its small size due to the island dwarfism, which is one possible adaptation to cope with limited resources in an island ecosystem. It seems possible that such an isolated population could have adopted in other ways as well. Perhaps an isolated population of Homo floresiensis on the Kia Islands could have dealt with the same kind of geographical pressures by at least partially adapting a more aquatic lifestyle to take advantage of coastal resources there. Coastal areas provide rich potential for food resources. So it does not seem completely unfeasible that a primate or early hominid in a remote habitat could have perhaps evolved along these lines. It is certainly interesting to speculate about. Could an aquatic adapted population of Homo floresiensis of some sort of primate or hominid explain these Indonesian merbeings? Or was it something else? Well, whatever they were, the Orang Ikan presents a curious and little-known mystery that has never been satisfactorily solved. And of all the alleged merging sightings out there, this case of Japanese soldiers being startled during the war by such creatures on these remote islands seems to hold a certain mystique to it. Whether it was true mer beings like those from folklore or not, or something else, it certainly seems that something weird was going on over there. Just what it was, we may never know.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. Another phenomenal article by our friend Brent Swanser. Well done, sir, and thank you, as always, for letting us share those with our audience. That's just brilliant.
Yeah, I like the way he brought in the Hobbit and
Yeah.
talking about how, because they're diminutive in size, and
Yes.
and that 150 centimeters is just like 3.5 feet.
Oh, so they're really diminutive.
Yeah,
then.
they're
Okay.
not very big.
Okay.
So it really makes sense. And if they took to the water to, I don't know, escape
Sure.
humans, that would make perfect sense to me. So
Yeah.
it could possibly be. There have been supposed sightings of deep water mermaids or mer people or mer fiends, whatever you want to call them. As a matter of fact, there was some people over in Sweden, I think it was, that was doing some deep dives in this specially made capsule, and supposedly something came up and slapped the window of it, and it had like fingers and webs.
Is that documentary thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a mockumentary.
Was it?
Yes,
Damn
and I was so pissed about that.
Yeah,
because I was like, oh wow, because it really seems phenomenal.
But there are, there was also that report from like the Ocean Shores area of Washington,
Okay.
somewhere over on the peninsula there of a possible mer person
Oh, wow.
washing up on the shore. And
Oh.
these kids supposedly finding it. Now here we're talking about kids though, because even when I was younger, we made stupid, homemade movies, so that
Sure.
could be true too. It could be just that they had this great idea,
Yeah.
so, but there have been other as well, of people, telling stories of, diminutive, 3 foot, 4 foot,
Yes.
beings that had, tail-like features and some scales and
Mhm.
possibly, fish structured faces and things like that. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, especially when they were talking about, in Brent's story there, where he was talking about, the aquatic primate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was often postulated that could there be an aquatic version of us? Could that be where the whole
Right.
mermaid thing comes from? And I don't know. I mean,
Atlantis.
because once they hit the coasts, what if they settled there
Right.
and subsisted on a lot of aquatic fare for their survival, and then over time would just adapt to that that lifestyle of staying in the water more than on land. But I'll tell you what, folks, I got to use the loo, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of the magic that is the Paranormal
Can
Portal.
you believe it's been 45 minutes already?
No, I can't, but that's the way it rolls, dude.
Oh,
It
shout
goes-
out to Kirsten too.
Kirsten.
Yeah, a little donation there. We appreciate
Oh,
it.
very
Thank you
nice.
much.
Thank you. I missed that, but thank you so much. She's awesome. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
Just a weepy one.
Just a weepy. I don't even know where to go. Okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Everybody likes to play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace the lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, got to unmute us first. We're back at it. Thank you so much for your patience. I've got better. I feel much better now. Thanks. Whew. I've been drinking water like crazy because I get so dried out. You know, it says dry air, Don.
Yes,
Don.
dry air.
Dry air. Thank you.
Yes, dry air. Summer, no. Winter has the tendency to suck all the moisture out of the air.
And the fun.
Yeah. That's
It
true.
sucks all the fun out of the air, too. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's okay. That's the way 2020's been anyhow.
Yeah, it really has. It's been
You
a
know,
really weird year.
I'm all for sitting down at, December 31st and having a shot at, 11:59:59 and never talking about it again.
Yeah, I hear you. It's been a weird year now with some regions are
Yes.
talking about going into lockdown again. It's like, oh my God.
Oh,
Wow. Not that we're going to get into that, but, it's like, man, it's a weird year. I mean, there's just nothing about this year that has been normal. It's just been crazy. It's almost been a paranormal year, Don.
oh, God, that's no lie. God.
But we are here hopefully to lighten the blow and make your days a little better. If that is what we're able to do, then we are absolutely blessed. Hope you guys are enjoying the show, of course. Always, if you're new to the show, if you're not usually here watching, we'd love to get you subscribed to be a part of our shows as we do them. And, of course, hit the bell so you get the notifications. You'll know when we go live. Hit the bell. Boom. But other than that, of course, we got the podcast. It's out there, ladies and gentlemen. If you aren't familiar with that, that's not this.
No.
The podcast is not the YouTube show. I still get people. In fact, just a day ago, like, hey, I watched your podcast. It was great. I was like, this is the YouTube live show. This is a live show. It's not the same thing as the podcast. The podcast is a separate thing altogether.
Whole different show.
Whole different show with
different
a lot of interviews with experiencers. of different phenomena. It's been wonderful to meet all of you that have decided to share your experiences, and a lot of fun to hear what you've seen and been through. And if you want to check that out, you can find that on all the major podcast platforms: Pandora, Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, Stitcher, Google Play, Castbox. The list goes on and on and on and on. But we're there. We should be there. So if you listen to podcasts like Sasquatch Chronicles or The Confessionals,
Who?
we're
Who are they?
or when whenever you listen to them, if you go into the search bar of that and type in Paranormal Portal, you'll find us there as well. We're on all the same players, so definitely, hopefully you will check that out and become a part of that universe of ours as well. So we're going through strange creatures and beings tonight. We just got done talking about one type of mermaid, and I thought, what would be better than one type of mermaid, Don?
Two types of
mermaid, Don. And so I found this other Brent Swanser article, and I was like, if we're going to talk about one type, let's talk about another type. But how about this one? We talk about one that's a little closer to home.
A lot closer to home.
A lot closer to home for us. It might be farther for some of you out there that are listening. Mary, I don't know. Yeah, Mary would have been closer to Indonesia, I think, than the U.S. But anyway, as well as Nessie. This one's farther for you, but hey, we all get a cut of this mer pie that's going around. Much like every other phenomena, there does seem to be a global component to it. So not only do you have Bigfoot in the U.S., but you have
mer pie.
Yeah, you have yowies and stuff in Australia. You have Yeren in China. You have, there's a global phenomena to it. Yetis, almas, almasties, woodwose, wild man, whatever. Wherever you are, there seems to be a version of that. So now we talked about the Orang Ikan, which seems to be a merfolk type of thing, an aquatic humanoid being. And now we're going to go all the way back home to the U.S. of A., where we're going to explore another article by Mr. Brent Swanser, which has to do with the mysterious mud mermaids of Indiana.
All the way from Indonesia to Indiana.
We're sticking with the INDs.
INDs, not the
INDs. Yep. And we went to Indonesia. Now we're going to Indiana for the mysterious mud mermaids. And I got to tell you, that doesn't sound like a very good deal.
Not really.
I'm a mud mermaid. Is that like a merpig? Sorry, I don't know. It came to me. It's nothing? No, tough crowd? Okay.
Yeah, tough
All
one.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
Pie bear. What the hell
Do
is
the Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh.
No respect.
No respect. Gish no respect.
All right, so this is the mysterious mud mermaids of Indiana. And this is one I have not heard of. But, I got to tell you, I didn't hear about the Thetis one that he mentioned in the last article either. So that's the depth of this guy. He just goes 15 layers in on everything.
Just take a cracking at it.
Yeah, take a kraken. I got you. That was clever. All right. When one thinks of mermaids, they probably think of vast expanses of the ocean and mysterious realms out past the horizons over the water. Mermaids have traditionally been seen as creatures of the sea. And whether or not they are real, it seems that most people can agree that at the very least they are denizens of the ocean, along with the likes of the kraken and sea serpents. There you go. However, this does not always seem to be the case. In the mid-1800s, or in the 1800s rather, there were apparently sightings of mermaids in perhaps one of the last places anyone would ever expect to find such entities. I'll bet you they're going to Indiana with this, huh? The setting for this is truly outlandish tale is the area near Vevey, I guess, in the U.S. state of Indiana. It is a state that has no coastline and would not typically be the first place to jump to mind when discussing sea monsters. Yet, beginning in 1891, this would supposedly change. There came to be several sightings of something lurking along the muddy shores and sandbars of the Ohio River that seemed to be some sort of grotesque, twisted version of the mermaids of legend. Apparently, 2 of the creatures were spotted in the area frolicking in the water and lounging about on submerged tree stumps. They were said to feed on fish and mussels. They were described as vaguely humanoid in appearance, amphibious, and completely hairless, with webbed hands and sharp claws, fins, pointed ears, and jagged teeth. A description of the Cincinnati Enquirer would say, The beast is about 5 feet in length. Its general color is yellowish. The body between the legs resembles that of a human being. Between the forelegs. Okay. The body between the four legs resembles that of a human being. Back of the hind legs, it tapers to a point. The extremities resemble hands that are webbed and furnished with sharp claws. It is devoid of hair. Its ears are sharp, pointed, and stand up like those of a dog. Oh, they kind of got a depiction here. That is funny because it would be like that humanoid here, but this weird, I don't know, this almost looks like a Gorgon type of thing that you'd expect from Greek legend.
Split tail would be a siren.
Ah, you're right. One of the witnesses, a Kentuckian Confederate captain, J.M. Osier, would even provide a sketch of the creatures and would claim that they were predatory and really quite aggressive. Osier would claim that the pair of creatures were a male and female, and that he had seen and been menaced by the male. Soon the newspapers were calling these creatures the mud mermaids, and another news report at the time would read in its entirety, "On the sandbar of the Ohio River, Vevey, Indiana, reside two nondescript creatures horrible in appearance and habit. They are amphibious in nature and resemble in appearance huge lizards with human features. When partly submerged in the yellow waters of the Ohio, they are strangely like human beings. Of what species of animal they are, nobody knows, for it is impossible to get near enough to them to judge correctly. The sandbar in question is at low tide. There's a tide on the Ohio River?
How so?
Okay. Yeah, low tide covered with huge logs and stumps of trees, known in the river vernacular as snags. We always call them deadheads. They had been deposited by the government's snag boats engaged in keeping the channel clear. When the water was high enough to cover these snags, the creatures make their home among them. When the water recedes, they disappear into some unknown lair and wait for a rise. From indications, they appear to be carnivorous. Among the snags are to be found wagon loads of mussel shells, fish bones, and other debris of animals. When the river goes down, these shells and other articles disappear, only to be succeeded by a fresh lot. This is evidence to those who have watched the coming and going of these strange things that they live upon such food. It is all very curious indeed, but frustratingly, the reports of these fantastical monsters just sort of end, and there's no more mention of them. Neither is there any mention of accounts of such a creature in the Ohio River before 1891. And so we're left to wonder what is going on here. Considering that the sightings all happened within a very short period of time, with no prior accounts and none after, there is the possibility that these were some sort of creatures that somehow managed to get up the river from the sea, briefly seen in this place before moving on their quest to get a new home. It might also have been just a misidentification of some other wildlife. There is the distinct possibility that it might have been merely a sensational fake news piece, which were common at to the era on slow news days. They just make up stuff. Doesn't sound too different from now. Whatever the case may be, the idea of mud mermaids in Indiana is too good to pass up, and it is an interesting little historical oddity all the same. Yeah. So the question is, did this even really happen? Well, who the hell knows? But it is a mermaid, and as such, it did make the cut tonight.
There you go.
What do you think, Don? Is there mud mermaids, or somebody just hitting the sauce a little hard?
It was, one of the most detailed descriptions comes from a Kentuckian Confederate captain. Okay, so, back then, no, this is hitting the sauce a little too much.
Okay. I think that's probably, well, the thing is there's nothing to draw on it before that,
right,
and certainly nothing after that, so, yeah, it sounds kind of fantastical. And as far as I know, the Ohio River has no tides. I know the Mississippi River doesn't have any, although spring is high tide because that's when it floods from all the snow melt. But other than that, there's no tides, so I don't know. Even that part of the article is like, what? Mm-hmm. There's no tides on those rivers. They're just rivers. But unless they talk of seasonally, then I guess maybe you could call that a tide of sorts. Seasonally.
What kind of seasoning would you use?
Seasonally.
Seasonally. Okay.
Yes.
Seasonal.
Yeah, we're not talking about food. Are you
Dang
hungry,
it.
Don?
No, not really.
Sounds like you got some food on your mind. But anyway, that's another case of mermaids, which, all falls under the umbrella of the Paranormal Portal. So
True enough.
we ain't afraid of all that. So that's a couple of those. I did have another article, since this has been something we've discussed quite a bit lately. Oddly enough, it's come up on a lot of our talks through the last few weeks, is the idea of hollow earth. And, the idea, and of course, Scotty called it cavernous earth.
Cavernous earth, yeah.
And I think that might kind of match what they're talking about here. But I am, of course, talking about an article that I found from Curiousmos. It's CURIOSMOS.com, Curiousmos. Curiosmos. I don't know how they pronounce it, but that's the site.
Curiosmos.
Curiosmos?
Like you like cosmos. Curiosmos.
Okay, that sounds like a good pronunciation.
Run
to me.
with it. Yep.
We're going to go with it. So we're going to read this, folks. And this is, scientists find massive mountains and smooth plains 660 kilometers below the surface. Wow. Says Princeton seismographs or seismologists found mountains and smooth plains on a boundary layer deep within the Earth's mantle. So that's wild. Let's see what it says. Oh, Lord. Let me blow this one up. I don't have glasses, but I don't need them because I just do this.
We just zoom in.
We just make it bigger. We accommodate my failing sight. Do you close? I hope you close. Yep, you close. All right. Oh, God's sake.
And it pops right back open.
Okay, Jules Verne, the father of science fiction, once imagined there was an entire world located beneath the one we live on. He envisioned a world unlike anything we've ever seen, complete with prehistoric species and never before seen plant life. Verne has been the second most translated author in the world since 1979, ranking between Agatha Christie and William Shakespeare. Now, researchers studying seismic waves have made a discovery that Verne would have been proud of. Scientists have recently revealed they've discovered mind-bending features deep inside our planet that resemble structures located on the surface. Scientists say there are mountains deep below, rivaling anything up here on the Earth's surface. In June of 1994, a powerful 8.2 magnitude earthquake rocked Bolivia. The tremor was so strong that experts revealed at the time that nothing this powerful had been seen in decades, with shocks being felt as far away as Canada. Wow, do you remember that? Me either. And since we're in the middle there, or we're in between those two, although we are almost Canada, so. It says, geophysicists from Princeton University in the U.S. and the Chinese Academy of Sciences used data from that massive earthquake to reveal the topology of our planet's interior. Earthquakes this big just don't come along very often, explained geoscientist Jessica Irving. We're lucky now that we have so many more seismometers.
Seismometers.
Seismo is seismometers.
Seismo, okay.
Yep. Than we did even 20 years ago. Seismology is a different field than it was 20 years ago between instruments and computational resources. As explained by Princeton, seismologists and data scientists use powerful computers, including Princeton's Tiger supercomputer cluster, to simulate the complicated behavior of scattering waves in the deep earth. The technology depends on a fundamental property of waves, their ability to bend and bounce, just as light waves can bounce or reflect off a mirror or bend, refract, when passing through a prism. Earthquake waves travel straight through homogeneous rocks but reflect or refract when they encounter any boundary or roughness. The reason I'm chuckling is because this damn underwear thing came up on my... Jesus. Really? We know that almost all objects have surface roughness and therefore scatter light, said Wu, the lead author of the new paper, who just completed his geosciences PhD and is now a postdoctoral researcher at the California Institute of Technology. That's why we can see these objects. The scattering waves carry the information about the surface roughness. In this study, we investigated scattered seismic waves traveling inside the Earth to constrain the roughness of the Earth's 660-kilometer boundary. The researchers were surprised by just how rough the boundary is, rougher than the surface layer that we all live on. In other words, stronger topology than the Rocky Mountains or the Appalachians is present in the 660-kilometer boundary, said Wu. Their statistical model didn't allow for precise height determinations, but there's a chance that these mountains are bigger than anything on the surface of the Earth. The roughness wasn't equally distributed either, just as the crust surface has smooth ocean floors and massive mountains. The 660-kilometer boundary has rough areas and smooth patches. The researchers also examined a layer of 410 kilometers, which is 255 miles down, at the top of the mid-mantle transition zone, and they did not find similar roughness. They find that the Earth's deep layers are just as complicated as what we observe on the surface, said seismologist Christine Hauser, an assistant professor at the Tokyo Institute of Technology, who was not involved in the research. To find 2-mile or 1 to 3 kilometer elevation changes on a boundary that is over 400 miles or 660 kilometers deep, using waves that travel through the entire Earth and back, is an inspiring feat. Their findings suggest that as earthquakes occur and seismic instruments become more sophisticated and expand into new areas, we will continue to detect new small-scale signals, which will reveal new properties of Earth's layers. Now we get to what it means, Don. This is the good part. Are you ready?
Yes. What does it mean?
That's what we're all wondering, Don. So let's get into that. It says the presence of roughness on the 660-kilometer boundary has significant implications for understanding how our planet formed and continues to function. That layer divides the mantle, which makes up about 84% of the Earth's volume, into its upper and lower sections. For years, geoscientists have debated just how important that boundary is. In particular, they have investigated how heat travels through the mantle, whether hot rocks are carried smoothly from the core-mantle boundary, almost 2,000 miles down, all the way up to the top of the mantle, or whether that transfer is interrupted at this layer. Some geochemical and mineralogical evidence suggests that the upper and lower mantle are chemically different, which supports the idea that the two sections don't mix thermally or physically. So there's a gap, is what that sounds like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Other observations suggest no chemical difference between the upper and lower mantle, leading some to argue for what's called a well-mixed mantle, with both the upper and the lower mantle participating in the same heat transfer cycle. Our findings provide insight into this question, said Wu. Their data suggests that both groups might be partially right. The smoother areas of the 660-kilometer boundary could result from more thorough vertical mixing, while the rougher mountainous areas may have formed where the upper and lower mantle don't mix as well. In addition, the roughness of the surface, the researchers found, which existed at large, moderate, and small scales, could theoretically be caused by heat anomalies or chemical heterogeneities. I don't even know what the hell that word is. That's a lot of letters, folks, right there. Heterogeneities. But because of how heat is transported within the mantle, Wu explained any small-scale thermal anomaly would be smoothed out within a few million years. That leaves only chemical differences to explain the small-scale roughness. Okay. Well, we got the gist of it here. There's mountains underneath us and plains or smooth areas. I didn't see any mention of the waters, the bodies of water that Brooks was talking about.
Right.
That's what I was really curious about, but I don't know, folks. 660 kilometers, that's, 400 and some miles of mantle.
You're right.
That's pretty thick.
That is.
That's a lot of thick right there.
It's almost as thick as my brother's head. Wow.
That's quite a head. But very interesting. To those of you who are interested in the hollow earth theory and stuff, I don't know that this is as conclusive at all. But now to supplement this, we had Brooks Agnew on the show, who's a scientist and an engineer. And he stated that seismographs had picked up that were deep in the ocean, had actually picked up the sounds of waves smashing on the shore underneath. Like there was a big body of water, an ocean underneath the floor of the ocean.
Right.
And so he surmised that it was from way below, from potentially an inner Earth. So I don't know, folks, what to make of all this. I just thought it was interesting because it does finally quantify that there is a geology below us that's diverse. It's not just one layer built on another layer like a jawbreaker.
Like a giant jawbreaker.
Yeah, not like that. There's quite a bit of, where the hell did my mouse go? I'm looking for it.
Your mouse is right
There it is.
around.
Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put our little.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't put the video up, Don.
Gosh.
Gosh,
Bunch of slackers.
I'm just slacking, folks. Hope you don't mind my slackiness. I'll put it up now because it just isn't the same.
What? Cha-Cha's calling in? I don't see a
There's no call on our boards.
cha-cha-cha chicken.
I don't see any calls.
She's dialing tiger, dragon, bear, chicken, cow, frog, bear, fox, lion.
Well, that sounds right. Don't even know what that means.
Well, the last one was correct. The lion. There we are. The portal has arrived.
Sorry, folks.
Gosh.
I forgot to turn it on.
Slacker.
It's funny because with just 2 days off, and by all means, I was busier than hell these last 2 days, just blasting away at other things. But it's funny how those 2 days, it's like I gotta really sit down. Okay, what do I do? And just kind of redo the checklist in my mind. And you'd think after 4+ years, I'd have this all nailed, but I still don't. And I don't know if that means something's broken, but it's just who I am. Anyway, nope, nobody's calling, so.
Well, that's okay because she just figured out she was looking at her see and say.
Oh.
The devil says. Sorry, can't resist that one.
Says, "Hi, honey, I'm home." Oh, yeah, yeah. That's her. That's her phone number. Yeah, that's funny.
Oh,
hi, Annie. Hi, everybody. How we doing out there? A lot of people here with us, Don.
yeah, we got 79 watching, but only 39 likes.
What the hell you say?
I did not, but okay.
I just want to let you guys know, and just you can do what you want. But
it makes
it is
Brett
said.
smile with every
It is
like.
said that every like, an angel gets its wings. So if you like angels, you
It
might
just
want to hit
went up
that
to
like.
41.
Woo! Everybody loves some angels.
That quick. Oh,
Power.
43.
Thank you.
Woohoo! Keep going.
Let's bring love to the world. More likes, more angels.
Oh boy.
You don't want hitchhiking angels and stuff, right?
No, I was like, no, that would explain those long, lonely roads and the damsels in distress on the side of the road that
Right.
get in but don't get out.
Right. Exactly. So there you go.
Unless, of course, you're Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, that's just creepy, weird. Way to go, creepy. Don just went full creepy on us.
Oh, well, anyhow.
Well, it's what it is. All right, so we got another article here. This is kind of a Brent Swanser love fest tonight, just for the record, because he links me on all his articles, which is really cool. And I read them. I go, oh God, this is awesome. Now, I don't know how many of you out there were fans of this movie, but I liked it. I thought it was really well done. It was entertaining, and apparently there's a reboot of it going on, or a
that's what I'm hearing.
semi-reboot.
Yeah.
But this is a Brent Swanser article that he released recently, and by recently I mean the 16th.
Which was like 2 days ago.
Yes, which is like just
The
recently.
guy
It's-
just puts out massive amounts
I know.
of information.
and this
How
is
does he
really
keep
cool.
them straight?
I didn't hear any of this stuff about this, but I found it interesting because it does reference the craft and all the background that they did in making the movie. And this is witchcraft and strangeness surrounding the production of the movie The Craft. So this is, of course, a movie that's had these girls in it. This is Fairuza Balk and I don't know, Nev somebody and two other girls. I'm sorry because I'm terrible with names anyway.
That's
But
Nev Campbell.
Nev Campbell. Okay,
And
thank you.
the third one from the right left. I can't even tell.
I don't know.
Anyhow,
Anyway,
she's
let's hear
pretty
about this
famous
because
herself.
what I did read this before and I was like, wow, that's really interesting. They really did put a lot of background into this, and some really weird stuff did happen according to this article. So This is throughout the history of movies, there have been certain productions that have managed to attract to them a certain amount of strangeness and tales of weird incidents. Such tales of the paranormal take the form of everything from bizarre, unexplained oddities to full-on curses. And they manage to bring together the worlds of Hollywood and the paranormal in a unique and intriguing way. I love his setups. It's just so poetic. One of these is a film centered on the story of witches, which during its making seems to have conjured up something truly odd and possibly paranormal. The Craft is a 1996 film directed by Andrew Fleming and written by Peter Filardi, starring Robin Tunney, Fairuza Balk, Nev Campbell, and Rachel True, as 4 high school girls who become involved with the world of witchcraft, performing rituals, casting spells, and displaying powers for their own gain before things begin to spiral out of control. The film's mix of high school drama and the supernatural, as well as its message of female empowerment and decidedly progressive feel, have helped it to become an iconic and massive cult classic, beloved by audiences everywhere. However, being based on witchcraft as it is, there should perhaps be no surprise that there were some rather strange things going on behind the scenes and during the shoot. Indeed, some of the weirdness going on during the making of The Craft is every bit as strange and interesting as what happens on the screen. All right, it says, one of the most interesting things about the film is that there was an actual witch hired by the filmmakers to serve as a consultant.
Wow.
They wanted to make sure that the scenes during the movie depicted arcane rituals were as realistic as possible, and to this end, they hired Pat Devon, a Dianic elder priestess and member of Coven Ashesh Haket, one of the largest and oldest Wiccan religious organizations in the United States, who ensured that the rituals and chanting were as authentic as they could possibly be, making the witchcraft accurately portrayed and even going as far as to craft chants specifically for the movie. Supposedly even writing a spell to help the movie be number 1 at the box office, which seems to have worked, as it has also been said that actress Fairuza Balk was also into real witchcraft and practicing Wiccan. And she even bought a store of pagan and occult merchandise called Panpipe's Magical Marketplace during her research into her character. It may have been this high degree of accuracy and authenticity that would contribute to some of the weird things that would go on during filming. And here it goes. One of the creepiest and most inexplicable incidents that happened on the set was during the shooting of a scene on a secluded beach in which the witches perform a ritual called the Calling the Corners. And since the scene was filmed on location on a real beach, the filmmakers consulted with park rangers in order to make sure it was filmed during the low tide cycle. Yet nevertheless, the ocean began behaving strangely during the scene. According to director Fleming, every time they began the ritual, the waves would rise up and knock over the candles that had been set up for the scene, as well as put out the fire they had made. This apparently only happened during the chant, and as they continued on, the waves allegedly got more violent until they actually washed away the whole set, much to the bafflement of the park rangers. Fleming would say of the scene and its weirdness in an interview with The Guardian, "We had a crane out there because it had these overhead shots, and in order to shoot that fire they built in the film, you have to run a gas line. And then it looks like the wood is burning, but it's actually like a barbecue gas and jets underneath the sand. So we spotted that weeks, months in advance in the park with the park ranger, who told us where the high tide stops. We picked a spot further away so we would be safe. And we were shooting at, I think, medium tide. Fairuza Balk was a practicing Wiccan, and she said, you really shouldn't be doing this here. Something kind of foreboding. And I said, well, we have to forge ahead. We're making a movie. Whenever they started calling the corners, it seemed to me that the waves started coming up and crashing louder. And finally, this one point, we had the camera up overhead, and it was spinning around. This huge wave came up and wiped out the whole set. And the park ranger said, I don't understand. This is too low. This is low to medium tide. So we kind of had to stop. And you can see in the movie, in one of the shots where the camera's overhead spinning around, the waves coming up and put out the fire. The strangeness doesn't even seem to have ended with the anomalous waves, as there was another occasion in the same scene when the character Nancy is screaming as a lightning bolt is about to strike her. And during one take of this, all of the equipment on set suddenly and mysteriously lost power. And yet another occasion, it sounds like the portal, Don.
Yeah. Sounds like just another night.
Sounds like a Wednesday here in the portal. Another occasion, a flock of crows suddenly descended upon the scene, delaying shooting when the crew cleared them out. Writer Filardi would speculate that it had to do with the location being the beach and its connection to witchcraft, saying, "The beach is a power location in earth magic, and it was always present in the script. When you build a fire on the beach, all four elements are brought together. Where earth meets wind meets water, we bring fire. And then you have four girls representing four elements, four seasons, four directions, four evangelists, and unite them at a beach with fire. That's when the stuff goes down." On top of this, there was allegedly a white owl that followed the cast and crew around wherever they went. The owl would apparently show up at several locations during the shoot, just sort of inscrutably watching them. And it was frequent enough occurrence that it was hard to explain. Actress Rachel True would say of it, "There was definitely weird energy around, and we were followed around by a white owl to several different locations." Neve pointed out that this white owl was following us around from different sets, and I was like, well, that's weird. But I was new to California, and I was like, well, maybe it's just full of owls. I don't know. And there was so much concern that the real witchcraft being depicted on screen with such accuracy was the cause of these odd occurrences that during the making of the subsequent sequel soft reboot, The Craft Legacy, the filmmakers made sure to hire 3 different occult experts, including witch Erin Fogel, to make sure that all the rituals and spells were being done safely. Fogel has explained that magic can be very tricky to work with and possibly dangerous, even if it is just for show in a film, and has said that of her role in the production. "My role here with the film is to make sure that anything that pertains to something that might be occult, that it's accurate. So any of the space where the girls are practicing magic or where they're experimenting with ritual and starting to open up their power a bit, those are all things that I've been consulting on to make sure that they're accurate to the way that someone would practice ritual who has an interest in the occult, who works with the esoteric realm, and that it's authentic to the way that we would actually practice it in our day-to-day lives. But also making sure that things are cared for energetically with the film as well. If we're doing spells and rituals and all sorts of practices that are part of the film, magic doesn't know you're acting. So I've also been doing some work in my own time and also with the cast and crew so that they feel supported. And that any energetic space that are opened through the practice in the film are also closed at the end of it. Well, good for her. That's good.
Yeah, close those portals.
Yeah. What was going on during the shoot, and where were they perhaps channeling strange forces in through their rituals? Or is it just another piece of movie lore to add to an already impressive list of such things? Is there anything to these oddities? Whatever the case may be, The Craft is seen as an iconic cult classic, and perhaps its depicted witchcraft is a little more real than many might suspect. Woo!
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. You know, there's always stories of movies having a curse attached to it, or
Right.
like the Poltergeist movie was rumored to have so many things going on with it.
Weren't there problems with The Shining as well?
Yeah, I think there was, as a matter of fact, and that wasn't actually shot on location at that resort. I don't know. I mean, it seems the more you mess with the strangeness,
the
the more the
strange it
strangeness
gets.
finds you. You
Yeah.
know, and it's odd, and I don't know. But again, it's like when we do the show, a lot of weird stuff happens here. And I know that it sounds just convenient, like, oh yeah, I'll bet it does. Wink, wink, paranormal.
Right.
But it really does. If you've been a fan of the show or been following us for any time, you'll see the amount of weirdness that we have, and
Definitely.
I don't know. Some of it you can explain away, I suppose, as it's the internet and it's a lot of electronics, and certainly they can behave all weird for any number of reasons. But some of the things I just can't explain away. And I find it hard to quantify exactly what has gone on. But I just know that I smudge an awful lot around here.
Yeah, no
I
doubt.
think you gotta, because you just don't know. You don't know what you're doing. And even though I like to think that I have an idea of what I'm doing, I'll admit that there's a lot to this that nobody knows. So I think it's one of those things you got to enter into carefully. And, even from things like doing investigations, for sure, you're going into a place, you're asking for interaction, you're asking for connection.
And if you get it, don't be surprised.
Yeah. So, well, that's kind of a whole nother thing too, right? So you got these people going out. They're going out, show us a sign, show us a sign. So they get a sign. And what do? They scream and run. It actually moved. It's like, yeah, that's kind of what you're going for, right? Wasn't that the whole plan, that you wanted that thing to move or a light to turn on or something? Now, in that same regard, there's also a lot of hoaxery in videos that have to do with that. I watched one today, and it wasn't a bad attempt. I mean, it was pseudo. Okay, well, maybe there was something to that,
Okay.
but it was just the quantity of things that this guy was apparently cataloging.
Right.
We're just off the charts. I mean, it's just, the doors are slamming, the lights are turning on. Oh, there's knives flying out of the butcher block. Orgy of evidence. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like, anybody that's spent time investigating the paranormal knows that a lot of it is really boring. You're waiting for anything to happen, and generally you're waiting an awful long time for something to happen. And it might just be a Hot Wheel scoots a foot on the floor, and that's like amazing, earth-shattering, interaction, yeah, or evidence. And then you turn on YouTube, and it's like, well, they got salt shakers exploding and things emptying out of the cupboards and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, because if you have that much activity and that much stuff going on, you should probably have a team of scientists there from MIT.
Or at least be getting the hell out.
Yeah. Well, definitely get out. That's the first thing, but then you should get somebody in there to really study, because with that much activity, nobody's going to walk away going, oh no, there's nothing to this.
Nah, it's all fakery.
So I mean, even you can even imagine like a government agency wanting to come in and check it out, because that's the unknown, and there's answers to be had in there. So anyway, I've kind of spiraled into 15 different things from that, but we've got a call. We've got a call. Caw-caw. It's a crow. That's my crow. Oh, all right, here we go. And this is area code 701. You're on the air.
This is not Brandon Lee.
It's not. Okay. Welcome. Welcome, Mr. Naysay. How you doing, brother?
Oh, come on. I was the crow, Brandon Lee.
No, I got it. I did get it.
Fishing there.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
So,
yeah, not worth the giggle. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'll
I'll hang up right now and listen on the phone. I'm sorry.
what's on
Anyway,
your mind?
sorry.
No, what's up, buddy?
Two things. One thing about the cavernous earth,
Yes.
which I really enjoy better than the hollow earth.
Okay.
Now, I think they're called neutrinos, but the sun, when it does its hiccups or its burps and it has its massive ejecta, these more or less radioactive particulates will hit the earth, and they will go through, all of the layers, the troposphere, stratosphere, atmosphere, and then go through the density of the earth. And they've started the scientific researchers, they started putting up different sensitivity stations around the globe. So when these would happen, they would try to detect these waves going through the earth. And what they were finding out, I want to say this was in the mid to late 90s, that they were finding out that there are some areas within the density of the earth where these electromagnetic waves would plow through quickly. And the theory of that is because there's all these open caverns on that. And some of these satellites that are up in the heavens right now have the ability, allegedly, and I've been trying to validate it, but I've got it from a couple different sources, that they can look almost 3 miles within or from the surface of the earth.
Really?
So I wouldn't be surprised if someone already has it all mapped out and planned out where all these caverns are.
Okay.
And to add more to it, my ancestors talk about entities that live within the earth also.
Oh, cool. Okay. And
So
what do they say?
I really enjoy the cavernous thing.
Sure. But what do your ancestors say, or can you paraphrase some of that information for us?
As far as naming names, it's really weird because I think I've shared before with your audience that when there's snow on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about these things. But because of this weirdness of snow's coming, and right now all of our snow here is melted,
Yeah, ours is
even though it's definitely cold enough for it to be here.
Uh-huh.
So it's bizarre. So as far as like naming names, I'm not comfortable with that.
Sure.
But there are, just as we have many different entities of the forest,
Mm-hmm.
the Pakwachee, that we have these same entities that are within the earth.
Okay.
Also, like when you were talking earlier about the mer people,
Yes.
my ancestors talk about that too. And it's talked about not like in today's society when you bring that up and people are like, oh my God, this guy's crazy,
Uh-huh.
but it's talked as actuality that there are these entities.
Wow. Okay. That's really wild. But I know that isn't it the Hopi that have the insect people that came out from the earth and took them down and helped them to survive the deluge. And I don't know, does the Anishinaabe have a similar type of legend of these peoples from the middle or this open earth?
Well, one of our legends we have is called the Great Migration Story,
Okay.
where the majority of my ancestors lived on the East Coast.
Yes.
And because of whatever speculation, they made a great effort to migrate inland because according to their cycle or recognizing the greater cycles of the earth, they knew some type of cataclysmic occurrence was going to happen.
Okay.
I.e. like the Great Flood and whatnot.
Sure.
And there's also discussion about in certain areas, there are tunnels and caves that, I was told one story that there is a cave in, I can't remember if it was Wisconsin or Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
that allegedly goes all the way down to South America into the Andes.
Like a cave? Like one cave?
A cave system.
Wow.
Like there's all of, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
And you hear these claims that, people are hearing underground construction. And if you read Richard Sager's book about the underground military bases, our technology today, we have these machinery that can dig a tunnel 50 feet in diameter, and as it digs the tunnel, it takes all of the scrap of the earth and everything,
Uh-huh.
mixes it into a cement, and it creates a cement wall,
Oh, wow.
like a cylinder, behind it as it moves forward. And I think it's like 15 to 20 feet an hour.
Wow. That's crazy.
And it's Richard Saunders. I think his name is Richard Saunders, if I got that right. And if I may, off topic, Brent, apologize. Digger Dog,
Uh-huh.
rumor has it that you have an incredible skill of tanning deer hides.
Oh.
And if this is true, I would greatly appreciate the opportunity to connect with you
Oh.
because I need some deer hides. And And I apologize, Brent, for
No, not at all.
taking that little smidgen from you.
No, that's perfectly good. And if you find out, I'd like a deer hide too. So
Yeah, me too.
so as long as we're
Daddy needs new moccasins.
yeah, actually I've always wanted moccasins.
Yeah.
I really have always wanted real moccasins. Not
Oh, I could send you guys patterns.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, please do. I'd love to see that. I might even be able to handle it.
I take a size 10.
Or if you what I would encourage you to do, if you take like a legal piece of paper and then on one side trace your foot,
Okay.
and then in the middle of it write R or L.
Sure.
And if you guys send me that, then I can't confirm or deny. I might be able to manipulate some fields and get some really generic, basic Anishinaabe moccasins to you guys.
Wow. Oh, I'd love that. Okay, very cool. Yeah,
Wow.
Expect the mail. It's coming.
I love you guys. Have a beautiful day.
All right, take care, brother. Thanks for calling.
Whatever it is. Whatever it is.
All right, take care.
All right, toodles.
That's cool.
Bye, Don.
Bye, Nacy.
He always gives you the love at the end. It's kind of some kind of.
I always get the little extra at the end.
You do. That's what I've heard. But I've heard you got it coming.
Oh, gosh.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it much more interesting or innocently.
Uh-huh.
Innocently than that. We got another call. Let's get to this and find out just what's going on with James over there in Michigan. Hey, James, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Good.
I have a little update about my apartment.
Oh, yeah? Let us have it. What's going on there?
Well, and this time, for once, it wasn't actually me that experienced anything.
Okay.
It was a relative of mine that was here for a few minutes while I was not here. I was getting laundry. So my sister comes over once a month to clean for me because I can't really do a lot of cleaning because of my low vision and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had laundry, so I left her here for a few minutes while I went to get this load of laundry.
Mm-hmm.
And she was here doing dishes real quick. She was looking at my back wall. It has like a patio door wall window in it.
Okay.
And there are vertical blinds that hang there. And apparently the blinds furthest away from the middle and the heater vent started moving on their own, the last 2 or 3 blinds.
Ooh, okay. Wow.
And she could see my cat. And the cat was not anywhere near the blinds. It was laying down.
So something was making itself
And
known.
so,
Cool.
and I tried to figure out, I've never seen those particular blinds move for any reason.
Sure.
Whether it be the heater or air conditioning. Those ones don't move. The middle ones will move back and forth here and there.
Okay.
But, the ones at the ends don't move.
Now, with your vision, James, and I don't mean to sound,
So-
I'm not meaning to be funny, but I'm very serious. Like, can you see movement with your vision the way it is? Like, you can see the different changes in the light when something moves?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And no worries. But yeah, no, I and I've actually been watching since yesterday just to see when everything turns on,
Right.
just to see if they move. And I never noticed it before, and I haven't noticed it since yesterday. So, so I just thought that was interesting that for once something happened here and it wasn't me that experienced it.
It wasn't
So,
just you. Yep. Absolutely, man. That's
thought that was kind of interesting.
That's very powerful. And you don't get dark feelings from this. I mean, it's been a pretty benign presence, really?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely. It was funny because I thought I could feel something here as I was getting ready to go, but it never feels bad. But I had a feeling. I was thinking, boy, I wonder if something's going to happen while I'm gone. And of course, I get back, and of course, something had happened.
Sure enough.
So
Yep. Wow.
that was interesting.
Is she okay, or is she all shook up?
Oh, she's fine. She's had experiences here and there herself, and
Oh, okay.
and so yeah.
Well, very
So
cool,
I
brother.
can. One of these times, for a future podcast, I could tell you about our grandparents' house, which used to be my sister's house for a little while as well, where she had a few things happen there. So,
Wow. Yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, so she was fine, but
Okay.
she's,
That's good.
yeah. So,
Okay, brother. Well, it's great to hear
Yeah.
from you, man. Appreciate you calling in and being a part of the show.
oh, no problem. Glad to be here as always. Have a good night.
All right. Take care, James. Thank you. That's cool. I like it. I like the updates. That's always fun.
And it's always nice to have somebody else confirm,
Yes.
what you're reporting.
Right.
It's that second party,
Confirmation.
Confirmation,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now, what I would say, and this is something I guess anybody could do, and again, you got to decide if here's the thing, if you think something's going on in your house, and you decide, I gotta see. So the first thing you got to consider is that whatever you see, are you going to be okay with it after you see it? Because there is something about not knowing or not seeing, and so you can always kind of dismiss it in your mind. Well, it's probably nothing, or it's just maybe the cat or whatever. But what anybody can do if you've got a webcam, generally speaking, is you can set up a webcam, leave your computer on, point it a direction that you want to check out, and set the webcam for a motion activation, and it will record whenever something moves or changes.
Right.
And that can be a real inexpensive, cheap way for you to check out what's going on in your place if you think something's going on. Now, again, there is the old saying, ignorance is bliss.
Right.
And if you don't know, but something's not right, but it's not like at the point of terror, but then you record it and suddenly see what
Yeah.
it is, then you got to know that that's what you're sharing your space with. Now, it doesn't mean that something, just because it looks weird, is weird or means harm. It's just things look different. So you got to prepare yourself for that, because you can't unsee it once you see it. So that's the other side of it. But it's just something kind of interesting, and it's really easy to do, a real quick and painless way, and it'll just store little pieces of footage on your hard drive until you check it out.
Right.
And you can check out what you've captured. So in James's case, he could aim a webcam at that blind and just keep recording, and it doesn't use up any space if it's not actually something moving. So once movement is detected, it triggers, it records for a specific amount of time, and then it'll stop recording and wait and stand by until something else moves. So it's kind of an easy way to do it if you're interested in checking out what's going on in your own space. But again, I will say, be careful, because you can't unsee it. And then there's the other option of, does it get worse after you start investigating your own home?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the other part of it. Well, we got another call, and this is coming from Kylie. How you doing, Kylie?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing good, thank you. What's on your mind tonight?
Oh, shoot. I think we have a delay.
Yes.
There's always a delay. Yep. There
Okay.
is.
So, so I was talking to my new and temporary roommate recently, and we're both from the same city, and we were just talking about the city we grew up in and everything, and kind of weird encounters. And I wanted to bring this up in the portal because I thought it was a good subject to discuss. So in the city that we both grew up in, I have an alternate dream map. And it's been this way for probably about 15 or more years, where I will visit this alternate map of like my hometown frequently. Like even just last week I was there, and I went to a place in the woods that was near the house that I grew up in that actually doesn't exist. But it's just very bizarre that for whatever reason, this alternate world in my dreams, I continue to visit over and over and over again. And it's always the same in my dreams, but it's never how it actually is in real life. But it almost makes you think, like, is this an alternate reality that I'm stepping into? Because it's for whatever reason, it's formed a certain way and it's stayed that way in my dreams for over a decade now. But I have no way of like really understanding why, or, you know,
Well,
sorry, my roommate just stepped in. So I'll just end it there. That's what I wanted to say.
Well-
Yeah, I just keep like visiting the same place, and it's very peculiar because it doesn't exist, but it exists in my dream that way consistently forever.
What I would say is, are you sure you're not astrally projecting? Are you sure it's dreaming?
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I don't know, because for whatever reason in my hometown, there's always this really weird. So I grew up right next to the forest, and in the forest in my dream, there's always this space of cleared forest where there's a few trees and like a tree house or a number of tree houses in there, and then a graveyard. And then for whatever reason, if anyone's familiar with UBC Vancouver, for whatever reason, that's always a ferry terminal. And so I kind of wonder, like, am I going to a place that maybe actually exists in a different reality? Because why would it always be the same thing?
Sure.
You know, like it's never any different. It's just
Yeah.
one is one way, and then my reality is another way.
Sure. And that's why I'm wondering if you're seeing a
Yeah,
representation of it that is more ethereal than physical, but based on the physical, such as the astral plane or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe things look different, but similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm curious if anyone else has any instances where they continue to visit a certain place that they've actually never experienced in this body and form, but for whatever reason seems to exist in another plane.
Very cool. Yeah, we'll put that out to our listeners. If anybody out there has something you can relate to, let us know, or let Kylie know, and let us know as well, because that's a great point, and it's a great question to ask. So.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys get back to it, and just thought I would pop in and share that.
Oh, thank you so much for calling in. It's great to hear from you, and thanks for being here. It's wonderful that you're sticking around.
Oh, for sure. Talk soon, guys. Have a great night.
Okay, good night. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a great question. It's like, what is real, and what if you see something that's kind of real, but it's not quite the same? Does that necessarily mean it's a dream?
Well, we have lots of friends that would point to the breaking of the Matrix.
Yeah, that's an interesting point too. If you believe this is a simulation,
That's true.
And then you look at the things like the Mandela effect, where things are different than the way we remembered them, and it's happening in our own lives as well. So mirror, mirror, magic mirror. Is it the lion lays down with the lamb, or the wolf, or whatever version of that, or versions that you can relate to, just would seem to suggest that we've taken a fundamental step sideways somewhere and gotten into a realm that's not quite the same as the one we remember.
Right.
And that gets so thick and so hard to think through, and just it stretches you to the very edges of limitation, because man, what does that mean? How did that happen? Where are we going? If are we on this journey and we don't even know? Like, we're on this life journey, but what if we're on this dimensional journey as well as we progress through this life journey? That as we change and develop and emerge as more of ourselves, do we then shift into different versions of reality that can more accommodate that version of ourselves,
Right.
than the one that we remember? And then you'll start, this is what I'm surmising, and it's just a flight of fancy in my head, but does there have to be a shift, a dimensional shift, to accommodate the vibrational shift that we're all making? And will that shift in vibrations bring with it these weird little Mandela things? It's like, that's not the way I remembered it.
Right.
And it's kind of a newer phenomenon, but I think that maybe we're progressing at a newer phenomenal rate. And so these changes can't be quite as streamlined as they used to be. And now we see these little parts that they don't quite line up the way that we remember. So just some thought. I don't know what you guys think about stuff like that, but I'm here to tell you, it was always the Berenstain Bears where I'm from. It was the lion laying down with the lamb. It was mirror, mirror on the wall. There was no magic mirror on the wall. There was so many more of them. It's just crazy, but something strange is afoot.
Something strange is afoot.
Yeah, even stranger than us, Don.
Wow. that takes a lot. Welcome to the Beings of the Portal.
Yep, we are the beans of the portal, ladies and gentlemen. We are the beans. We got the beans. Okay, now I got another story down.
Okay.
Where are we at for time? God, we got like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't think I got time for the story down.
Well, somebody asked me to read something earlier.
Yeah, please do.
All right, so let's do this. And it's funny because Titan asked me if I could read something about the red cap goblins or gnomes, and then red cap goblin popped in.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
all right. So anyhow, I just did some googling real quick. It says, "What are red caps and why should I avoid their lair?" For the unwary visitor to the lair, red caps can be deeply dangerous creatures. These malevolent little folk are classified as goblins, and that's a word that rarely attaches to anything positive. Well, while J.K. Rowling's red caps live in Northern Europe, they're most common in border folklore. So, since they're so dangerous, I want to keep you safe so you can keep reading my blog. Let's find out more about them. This is written by a blogger named Icy Sedgwick. Where do red caps hang out? According to the 19th century folklorist William Henderson, red caps live in a string of ruined castles stretched along the border between England and Scotland. Their favorite castles saw violent or tyrannical events. Some believe his name comes from the tendency. Some believe their names come from the tendency to soak his cap or their caps in blood, hence the name Bloody Cap.
Yikes.
Mythical Creature Guide claims that red caps mustn't let the blood dry out since they'll die if it does. Though where they find a steady supply of victims, if they live in ruined castles, I'm not sure. Henderson claims that red caps appear as old men with long tangled hair, flaming red eyes, and vicious talons. You'd think most people would avoid them. For those daft enough to venture too close, he throws a large stone at them. The unlucky ones he hits and ends up providing that fresh blood for his cap. They wear iron boots and carry an iron pike, though apparently you'd be hard-pressed to outrun one. Instead of quoting the Bible at him or holding up a cross to drive him away, he disappears in a flash of flames. Instead, quoting the Bible at him or holding up a cross drives him away. He disappears in a flash of flames and leaves a large tooth behind. That all sounds rather spectacular. Henderson notes that the parallel existence of the Dunter or Powery in similar border ruins. They're harbingers of doom, making noise that act as death omens. According to Henderson, the Picts who built the border castles used human blood to purify their foundation stones. This grisly act created resident ghosts in the building, and some wonder if the spirits of these sacrifices have taken the form of the red caps or the Dunters. Other red caps in folklore. Red caps pop up elsewhere in folklore, as folkloric creatures often do. While the border red caps favor blood and destruction, the Perthshire red caps in Grintolly Castle shower anyone who sees them with good fortune. The Dutch red caps, known as kabouters, are more like Scottish brownies or Irish leprechauns. William Henderson notes that these red caps help out around the house and, on receiving new clothes, vanishes, never to return. They sound like Rowling's house elves or helpful shoemakers of Cologne. Some refer to the Cornish fairies of Zenner village as red caps because they wear scarlet caps. They probably hate being confused with violent, bloodthirsty goblins. Vampires.com says red caps also appear in Ireland, calling them the vampire's cousin. They also say the cap is made from dried human skin.
Hey.
Robin Redcap. Lord William de Sole of Hermitage Castle even had a red cap as a familiar named Robin Redcap. He rampaged around William's lands. Lord Solus apparently practiced the black arts and received advice from his red cap aide. Sir Walter Scott collected a Scottish ballad about the pair. In it, Robin lives in a chest and enchants William so that he may repel metal weapons. According to Scott, red cap is a popular appellation of the class of spirits which haunts old castles. Every ruined tower in the south of Scotland is supposed to have an inhabitant of this species.
Oh.
In the legend, William was wrapped in leaves, boiled to death in a cauldron. His pursuers needed to be inventive due to his invincibility to weapons. The legend is more fanciful than truth. William ended his days in Dumbarton Castle after confessing his part in the 1320 conspiracy against Robert the Bruce. You can still visit the castle today, but keep your wits about you. No one wants to provide new dye for the Red Caps hats. So there you go.
Yikes. Is that the whole thing?
That's the whole thing. Yeah,
That's
there you
pretty
go.
cool.
Yeah, just some other interesting side information as opposed to the stuff we usually get from Miss Robin. So yeah.
That's right. Yep, that is it. I hope you guys are admiring the sharp cameras. Don and I worked on the cameras and stuff before the show. I think this might be the best version of us you're going to ever see. Unless you see us in person, but that'll still be the better version.
and Cha-Cha and Justin and Titan have all stayed away from us since that day.
Yeah. What is that all about? Huh? What is that all about?
Anyhow.
But yeah, how we doing?
Oh,
That's it.
are we
isn't it?
doing? Is it it? It's it.
Wow, we made it through 2 full hours, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys have enjoyed the journey. We of course enjoyed bringing it to you. Please get subscribed if you're not already, and you too can be a part of every one of these shows moving forward.
Yes.
And just click the subscribe button below. Please give us a like if you would, because it's again, angels get their wings every time a like is button is pressed. And you know, the dislike button, of course, it just means you're a jerk. So that's
that was being rather nice.
that was the nicer version of it. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter. If you don't like the show, hit the dislike. It's your right.
Yeah.
It's absolutely your right.
You know what it just comes out as math.
It's just numbers, and you know, we hope, of course, that you like what you're seeing, and you like hanging out with us. If you do, then get subscribed and become a part of the portal. On Facebook, Cha-Cha's made the Paranormal Portal fans group page, and lots of great conversations going on over there. And you can post whatever you want if you're a member, and take part in those conversations. It's a lot of fun, and of course, we have the Paranormal Portal radio page on Facebook as well, and that's both of those of which you should be able to, you know, tune in and find out what's going on the portal. If there's any announcements to make, they'll be happening there. So if you want to follow what we're doing or what we're up to, or if we've put anything out as a release, you will see it there. Check out the podcast on any of the major platforms, of course. You can find us on Pandora, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's, gajillions of them out there, and we're on all of them as far as I know. So if you want to check those out, those are unique shows. They're not the same thing as what you're seeing here. They're different. So
They're totally different
they're
shows.
different.
Hey, I got a question for you though, Brent.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing this thing pop up on Facebook, and it says a toy company makes an action figure of you. What 2 accessories does it come with?
What 2 accessories would my toy come with?
Yes.
It would have to be a microphone
Okay.
and a fork.
A fork?
No, I'm just kidding.
You'd be needing a plate of sausage, baby.
That's right, because I'm loving me some sausage. Just saying, that still sounds wrong, doesn't it? Even if I say it to myself, it just
There's nothing
doesn't work.
you can do about that.
Thanks, Dick. No, I don't know. I don't know what my other one would be. Maybe a guitar. So it'd be a microphone and a guitar.
There you go.
Because I do like to write music and play guitar and be creative, but I also love doing the shows.
Yeah, there you go.
And probably have a 3-foot minion attachment as well.
Oh, there you go.
So that's. What about yours, Don? What would yours be?
What would mine be?
Yours be a spatula for your grill.
Well, yeah, I'd have to come with a full outdoor grill set. It's like, hanging carcass of a deer over here and ribs over here, and Dawn at the grill going, ha ha.
Yeah, with a mean snicker. That sounds good. What would your action figure be? You'll have to let us know in the comments.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah,
let us know in the comments what your action figure would have for attachments or accessories. But that's all we got for you, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll be back tomorrow night with the Night Terrors. And those are our shorter format shows. They're just about an hour on Thursday and Sunday nights. So if you want to tune in and check out some ghost stories, I'll be telling some. And then Friday, 2-hour show, Saturday, 2-hour show. And Sunday, again, the Night Terror. So
no Titan, no beard glitter. Oh, gosh, you guys. You're killing me.
Spirit. Show the spirit, Don. But we are broadcasting live here on YouTube from Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Every other night is at 7 p.m. until Sunday night. And then Monday and Tuesdays are non-broadcast nights. So, but there's also the podcast. So, and about 850 episodes in archive here on YouTube that you can check out as well. So there's lots of Portal. If you need a Portal fix, I think we got you covered.
Keep you busy for quite a while.
Yeah, you'll dedicate a good portion of your life. I'm not sure how much hours is in there.
We have like 200 podcasts now.
Oh yeah, 200 podcasts. Those are about an hour.
850 videos, and
yes. So
we're doing 3 2-hour videos a week.
Yes.
And then 2 1-hour videos a week. So we're going to be outpacing those again. So, wow.
Tell you what, we're just doing our best to give you all the entertainment and paranormal education as we can handle. So hopefully you guys will stick around and check it out. But other than that, I don't know, Don, anything in closing?
Don't forget that, we do have the Teespring store over at teespring.com/stores, STORES/paranormal-portal.
Yes, and you can find all your paranormal gear there. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. You don't want to remember all that.
Correct.
Just scroll down in the description of this video. You'll see the link to that. And there's another option to help support what we're doing. But I guess that's it, huh?
That's it. The
all
day's over.
Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. Love you guys. And I'll see you tomorrow night on the Night Terror. So 7 p.m. right here on YouTube. Don't miss it.
Bye-bye.
All right, good night.